In case the 2+ month gap between the last video and this one didn't tip you off, I've been busy lately. Assignments, then finals, then summer classes starting up, then shifting around my course load in university, then looking for work, and then, I haven't really had time to work on this channel. Obviously, I eventually got some free time to work on stuff, otherwise this video wouldn't exist. When I did though, this video wasn't the one I wanted to make. At that point, this video wasn't even one that I had thought of making in the first place. The original plan was to make a video about a game I played and enjoyed a lot as a kid, and a bit while growing up, crashed to insanity. I was gonna go into stuff like how it's aged well, how it's an easy and really simple game to get the hang of, how the cartoonish writing and gameplay mechanics made it stand out at the time, blah blah blah. I sit down, finally able to relax and play some fun video games and not worry about school, and boot up the game. An hour goes by and I shut it off, unplug my PS2, and put the game away. I think for good. After just 1 hour of playing the game to refresh my memory on it and get footage for what I was planning to be a video celebrating the game, I couldn't stand to play it anymore. Things that I hadn't noticed about the game before were standing out and bugging the hell out of me this time. For instance, the writing was nowhere near as funny or charming as I remember it being. Things just sort of happen because the writers want them to happen, not because they logically take place in the game. Like, there's a scene where Cortex's brain is removed from his head, but then it's just never brought up again, so I guess it was just a gag. And the part where you fall down from the sky and land in a boat, I think, where a walrus chef wants to eat you, It's like if someone drew 2 dots on a paper, labeled them point A and point B, then insisted that they were connected even though they never drew the line between the two. In previous games, in any game, if you're fighting a boss, it's because that boss is, like, a bad guy or something. There's a point in this game where you just fight a statue because why not? We wanted a statue boss. The game is also super repetitive. To the game's credit, the sequences where you snowboard on Cortex's back and roll around in the cartoony ball thing with Crash and Cortex are funny and cool ideas that only last around 5 minutes each. The majority of the time though, you're just jumping from platform to platform and facing enemies that you just spin into or detonating nitro crates from a distance. After playing the game for 15 minutes, you've pretty much experienced all there is to experience. So between the disjointed writings with the hit or miss jokes, mostly miss, and the gameplay that asks nothing more of you but jumping and spinning in the simplest context in the series' history, the game couldn't even hold my attention for more than an hour, which really bummed me out. It's a different kind of upset than when you've realized that you've outgrown cartoons or kids games or whatever, since I don't think most people even get upset about that kind of stuff. It's more of a sad realization that a part of your childhood is gone, and while you still have the fond memories with the, in this case, video game, you'll never be able to experience it in the same way again. Playing to insanity now doesn't bring back any of the happiness it brought me when I was younger, or even 2 years ago when I last played it. It's not even a relaxing or fun game to help pass the time anymore, it's just boring. Playing the only 2 enjoyable parts, being the snowboarding and the cartoon ball thing, was like looking through a photo album and finding a photo of you as a skinny kid. You're happy to remember the past, but minutes later you sink back to reality and realize you don't have that anymore. And when I sat down and thought about it, I realized that playing to insanity and getting bored of it so quickly is a pretty good representation of my gaming pattern nowadays. Gaming has become so much more of a social thing for me than a hobby or a several-hour experience. The main games I play today are For Honor and Smash Ultimate, which are both multiplayer games I play exclusively with friends and in no other context. I can't sink hours into single-player games like Horizon Zero Dawn or Breath of the Wild anymore because I'm more focused on getting good grades for grad school, which is arguably a bit more important. Even when I do make time to play games like Kingdom Hearts 3, Spider-Man, or Undertale, those were only games I beat because I was already super excited for them in the first place, or because the first 30 minutes were super interesting. I literally, financially and time-wise, can't afford to spend an hour on a game only to drop it and never play it again, which has also made me more selective with buying games in the first place. I guess really this video isn't about why Crash to Insanity isn't good like I thought it was, but rather about how gaming isn't the experience it once was when I was younger. Just 3 years ago in high school, I could sink so much more time into playing video games. Now it's almost a luxury to be able to sit for an hour and play uninterrupted, which is something that ended up taking one of the few games I grew up with away from me. Not to turn it into a sob story or anything, I mean, people grow up, their tastes and stuff change, and they move on. I'm just writing this right on the heels of playing a game I thought I would enjoy for my entire life, but then realized that it's nothing more than mediocre. But games are still a thing. There's going to be a new Animal Crossing, which I'll enjoy when I have the time. Ubisoft is putting out a new MMORPG pirate game, which looks cool, but it's Ubisoft, so I'm not pre-ordering. And I'll still have For Honor and Smash in the meantime. The two okay games that I play because my friends and I have no cheaper, better options. Thanks for listening to me mope about how I'm older now, even though I just turned 20 a few months ago and still have a long way to go before midlife. If you relate to the video or had a similar experience with video games or movies or whatever else, let me know. I'm curious to hear other people's stories without growing their favorite things. Hopefully it won't take me 2+ months to come up with another video since it's summer and I have a bit more time on my hands now, but until then, thanks for watching.